Hello, everybody. Welcome to podcast number 428. We're going to talk today about Takt control. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I'm still in the hotel in Mexico. Yep, it's podcast number 428. So the previous podcast that I just did talks about why a 5-day takt time might be problematic. This one right here is going to talk about short interval scheduling as it applies to superintendents and foremen. So let me do this in a really short manner. And I want to give you a little bit of context here, but really have this pack the punch when it comes to what a foreman and a superintendent should do for short interval planning and scheduling. So every foreman and superintendent should be able to do Gantt chart schedules on Excel on a computer, minimum standard, okay? And I have that in the book, Elevating Construction Superintendents. That is a key item. You cannot be a superintendent or a foreman unless you know how to schedule. The bare minimum that we would accept is to do that on graph paper. If somebody doesn't have a computer or doesn't like using Excel, which God forbid that's the case, the minimum would be that you do it on graph paper. Okay, so that's number one. You cannot be a superintendent or a foreman or an assistant superintendent unless you know how to schedule. The scheduling of short interval schedules, of short interval plans, is fundamental to implementing on a production level on a project site. So let me give you some history here. Throughout the ages back to 1965, decades back to 1965, superintendents have been taking their vertical alignment from a master CPM schedule and creating 1 week or 3 week or 4 week or 5 week or 6 week look ahead schedules in Excel and giving them to trades. That was better than most of the time what we do nowadays, where supers don't even participate in the schedule. But it was still a push situation. We didn't involve the trade partners, so it wasn't ideal. But at least they had a schedule, okay? Then the last planner comes around, which I love, and says, okay, let's go ahead and pull plan to get the right sequence to milestones from the master schedule. That will then populate into a 6-week make-ready look-ahead. And then that 6-week make-ready look-ahead, as we make commitments and remove roadblocks and have better conversations to make work ready, then the trades themselves can create a weekly work plan. Now, that weekly work plan is now a collaborative, committed document that the trades go and implement. You want to have above an 80% execution on that, which is called a percent plan complete, meaning the percent of tasks or activities on that weekly work plan that the trades committed to, collaborated and committed to together, looking each other in the eyes, 80% of those, above 80% of those are accomplished. Okay. Now, I'm going to take you into current day United States. Now, we have supers and foremen that aren't even making schedules because they're not trained, let alone, the last planner system was taking on for a while, and now I'm seeing more and more projects where these younger workers are getting promoted to foremen, these foremen are getting promoted to supers, and the people that knew the last planner system are now project superintendents getting overwhelmed and doing their best to train the younger generations. And now we have these more on the boots on the ground positions, foremen and assistant superintendents that don't even know how to create a 3-week schedule by themselves, let alone in the last planner system. And this is a problem. And so we have to fix it. So bare minimum, meaning if you look at good, better, and best, good is the supers create the 3-week schedule. better is that the supers and trade foremen and trade superintendents engage in the last platter system in huddles to create their 6-week or their pull plans, their 6-week make ready look aheads, and their weekly work plans together as a coordinated plan they committed to. That's better. Best is this, that you have a Takt plan as a project superintendent or a senior superintendent, that your project is takted, and that every Takt wagon has a standard day 1, day 2, day 3, let's say it's a 4-day Takt time, day 4, sequence of work by work step of how work is going to happen within that 4-day cycle. That's standard. And it is the foreman and the assistant superintendent's job to work in what's called Takt control, where we target accomplishing 100% of the work, the cycle times that are within those Takt wagons. And that we maintain that drumbeat of every 4 days where trades start in a different area with that same standard sequence. Now, if somebody says, well, that's a push schedule. No, it's not. The trades pull plan it to begin with, so it's a coordinated sequence. Secondly, when you get down to the work step level and within a 4-day Takt time, a 4-day Takt wagon, you actually create that sequence between day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. The trade partners are with you, and they create basically a weekly work plan one time as a standard template. That standard template should be repeated throughout the rest of the areas on your floors, or on your building, or on your exterior. It is the assistant superintendent and foreman's job to make sure we accomplish not above 80%, but 100% of the tasks within that Takt time, within that Takt wagon. And what Takt control means is that we work to create flow. The single biggest indicator on our projects of whether or not they're going well is work flowing. As the foreman and the assistant supers are out there standing there daily, the question is work flowing? Are these cycle times by area within a Takt wagon, are they working? Do they need to be adjusted? Does the template need to be adjusted? Is it working? Is it flowing? Okay. And they need to work to get the cycle time reduced, to get variation reduced, and to make sure the crews are not overutilized. That the crews are not overutilized. And that is called Takt control. What it means is that we are working with the foreman to control the environment, to create flow, to make sure we have a little bit of buffer at the end of that cycle time within that Takt time, and that we accomplish 100% of the work, and that work is flowing. And so if I go to any project in the United States, I should see a Takt plan. And then I should see that there is a list of work steps, meaning within a time scale, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, if it's a 4-day Takt time. And I should see when each work step activity is happening. And that assistant superintendent and that foreman uses that standard as that process works through the floors, through the areas, uses that standard to create flow. And adjust it if needed for the purpose of reducing the cycle time, reducing the load on the crew, and creating buffers and creating flow. So if the project superintendent or senior superintendent is managing the overall Takt plan, the assistant supers and the foremen should be managing and refining the work steps in the time scale within that Takt wagon on a weekly short interval basis in whatever software you're using, but at a minimum Excel. And they should be working together, boots on the ground, to make improvements from week to week, or from cycle time to cycle time, or from Takt time to Takt time. The difference here is, and I want to leave you with this, and you're smart enough to understand what I'm saying verbally without seeing a picture. I believe in all of you. In the last planner system, If you ask your trades every week, brand new from scratch, what do you think you should be doing this week? Not only does it likely not vertically align with trade flow on a master scheduling level, but they're creating these things from scratch every week, which increases their load, reduces their capacity, and really overburdens them in these meetings. The other thing is, it's so chaotic and there's so much variation with that, and they have to adapt to so many different committed activities that it takes most of their time just to plan them. But consider if every foreman created a standard work sequence within certain cycle times, the takt times, and that repeated over and over and over and over and over, let's say 12 to 50 times on the project, then you could perfect that really well. And that is takt control. Perfecting that cycle time, reducing variation, reducing the load, and increasing your buffers so that that cycle time, that process can repeat from area to area over and over and over and get better and better and better and better. That's what the plan, do, check, act cycle is. That's what improvement is. That's what takt control is. And if you never do that, if you never package these sequences in attack time by zones and create standards and perfect those standards, then every week inside your last planner system is a new round of chaos. And you can't do that. And so that's what I'm hoping for the industry, is that we get our minds wrapped around takt planning, that we understand our process cycle times, and that our assistant superintendents and foremen get out there and optimize those cycle times. And because they repeat, we make it better and better and flow more and flow more. And we are able to win on our projects. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.